I think I'll make the liturgy very, very short. Jeremiah 31, 31, I'll develop this over time, so I'll just read one verse tonight. Jeremiah 31, starting in verse 31, we read about this new covenant that God's making with the house of Israel. Obviously, Gentiles are within the purview of this new covenant because Yeshua explains in the Gospels that this new covenant is ratified by the shedding of his blood. And so, even though this new covenant is made with Israel and the house of Judah, it envisions the Gentiles. We won't read about them tonight. We'll just read about Israel. But we'll start us out just with one verse tonight. Jeremiah 31:31. In English, over on the left side of the page, ESV reads, "Behold, the days are coming, declares the Lord, when I will make a new covenant with the house of Israel and the house of Judah." So a new covenant is going to be ratified with a people group, and it's important that the Gentiles find their place in the covenant by relationship to this existing people group. He doesn't say I'm making a covenant with the Gentiles. And that's a kicker. That's a deal breaker. If Gentiles aren't included in the covenant membership under the umbrella of Israel, then where are they to be found? Where do the prophets speak of bringing bringing the Gentiles in? He doesn't say, "Behold, the days are coming, declares the Lord, that I'll make a new covenant with the house of Israel, the house of Judah, and the nations." Well, then it must be that the nations are included somehow within the scope of Israel and the house of Judah. The Hebrew over on the right side of the page says, "Hinei yamim ba'im ne'um Adonai v'charati et Beit Yisrael ve'et Beit Yehuda brit chadasha." That's the liturgy from the Tanakh. And in the Apostolic Scriptures, we'll just pick on one verse as well. I'm going to start in verse 10 of chapter 3 of Galatians and eventually read 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14 for our liturgy as we're looking at in the Shema study, this idea of faith and faithfulness. The Gentiles are included in the people group of God and the new covenant because they are being brought into the family of God by faith, not by works of the law and the conversion policy of the first century. And Paul expresses it this way in Galatians 3:10. "For all who rely on works of the law are under a curse." Why? "For it is written, cursed be everyone who does not abide by all things written in the book of the law to do them." The quote is from the Torah. "Cursed be everyone who does not abide by all things." It's actually from the book of Deuteronomy. The key to understanding this verse is that part of what God expects of his people when he gave them the commandments is genuine faith in God, which leads to genuine faith in Messiah. What did Yeshua say in John 14:1? "Believe in God, believe also in me." So if you don't believe in me, then it's proof that you don't believe in God, and therefore you are cursed because you're not doing everything that's written in the book of the law. One of the things that's commanded of you is to have genuine faith in God, which will lead to genuine faith in me. I'm Yeshua talking. Thus, if you're not following after faith in God, which leads to faith in Messiah, then you are cursed because you're relying on self-effort, i.e. works of the law. The Greek over on the right side of the page of verse 10 says, "Hasoi gar ex ergo namu, eisen hupakataran, eisen gegraptai, gar, hati epikataratas, pas has uk emene, pasen tois gegramenois into biblio, tu namu, tu poiesai auta." And that'll do it for our liturgy for tonight.